Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Reboot Roundtable, the podcast where me and two buddies get together and we talk about reboots, rewrites, and sequels of classic fictional franchises. I am joined, as always, by Jay.
What's poppin'?
And Tyler.
And Tyler.
And Tyler, and then silence.
Silence?
I barely know her.
Did I not say anything?
No, you didn't say anything. You just went,
Oh, I must have peeked. I
that's
said hello.
that's insane. You did mention a few episodes ago that it always gets higher.
Oh, yeah, it does. I really think it does.
I actually realized I'm going to have to mute I gotta mute the Discord. My Discord is running.
I just let OBS take care of that.
Mine is running really hard.
It is.
Huh?
Anyways, so, this week, we have, good old Jay giving us a pitch. Jay, what are you pitching for us today?
Indeed. So, I am pitching something that's pretty relevant to the times. 6 years ago. I am pitching the theoretical Elder Scrolls 6, how it would play out. And just kind of how the game would feel, right?
Out of curiosity, when did Elder Scrolls 6 get announced?
I do believe it was actually 6 years ago. I could be wrong.
I'm pulling it up now to see when the announcement video was. It was 2018!
So yeah, exactly 6 years ago. Yeah.
Oh!
So, we have been waiting a little bit. And so while we're waiting, there's millions, not millions, there's thousands of theories out there. What's one more? So I have my own taste on this as someone that has an unhealthy amount of time in Skyrim. I'm gonna have my own kind of twist on this. So, hop right into this. First of all, what's your all's experience with Skyrim? That's where we're gonna start. Or just Elder Scrolls in general.
So, I've beat Skyrim once, and I've started a lot of other playthroughs and never finished them.
Nerd.
I played the first 40 minutes of Oblivion,
Okay.
and then I quit.
Okay.
And I've watched a lot of Skyrim Easter egg videos.
That is good. Ty, how about you?
Yeah, I don't have nearly that much experience. I've played the game long enough to get to Whiterun 12 different times. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's about it. I've gotten to Whiterun.
Okay. So you're a little fresher. In terms of my own personal experience, well over 3,000 hours in Skyrim alone.
That leads to an important question. Who's your favorite follower?
Favorite follower? I actually don't use followers.
That's fair.
But if I had to pick Fatal, why? Because I'm afraid of the little buggers dying. I know a lot of them are like quest NPCs that can't die, but a lot of them, at least my favorite one, Fatal, isn't. And I don't really like the other ones. So, other than that, maybe Serrano. Serrano's chill.
That's fair. I've only ever had Lydia as a companion.
Yeah, you would.
What does that mean? What do you mean by that?
You just seem the type to like to be degraded.
I don't know what to say to that.
I hate that. Please never say that again. I beg you.
You brought it up. Oh, you would beg. Anyways, getting back into this. So, the plan is Elder Scrolls 6. It's not confirmed, but the theory right now is that it's going to take place in Hammerfell. So, to describe where Hammerfell is, it's obviously in Tamriel, but the rest of it, Hammerfell is right next to Skyrim. It borders. It borders Skyrim, is what it is. It's right next to Cyrodiil, Skyrim, and High Rock. Hammerfell. Hammerfell, to describe it, it's a massive region. It's giant. I think it's as big as Skyrim, not a little bit bigger. Covered in just different ranges of environment. So there's forest, like big jungles, forests. There's big mountain ranges. There's grasslands, swamps, deserts. You got a little bit of everything, right?
Okay.
And so you can play with a lot of different things. You really couldn't play with in Skyrim because Skyrim really had two terrain types, really. You had kind of your grassy plain, you had your mountainous region, and then you just had cold. And you can play with a bit more in Hammerfell. So I think for a Elder Scrolls 6 game, the number one thing you have to do is you have to beat Skyrim. Okay, because people are going to come into this game with the same amount of hype they came into what was it, Starfield?
Yes.
They're gonna come in with more hype than they came in with Starfield. Now, here's the issue with that. The Starfield was Starfield. It didn't do too well. So how do you rebound from that? Well, first of all, you actually create a fleshed out, filled out open world, right? Bethesda is well known for their open worlds. That's what they do.
Right.
Their game design can be very good. I think if you're going to make it better than Skyrim, you have to cut out hard on loading times. That's going to be thing number one. This is a hardware side. Is I think it should all be as like you're exploring Hammerfell. Like, let's say you go into a cave, right? Imagine this: you're the character. You're playing you are playing the game. You're wandering the world. You see on your notification, like your HUD, you see a cave. You're like, I want to explore this. You go towards the cave, and you can see from outside the cave the inside of the cave. Instead of it being like Skyrim or a lot of other games where it's like dark and then you walk in, loading screen, now you're in the cave.
Right.
I want it to be seamless. Sort of like No Man's Sky from going from planet to solar system.
Yes.
I want it to be seamless. I want it to happen in real time. That's going to add to the immersion, which is the biggest thing. Is if I'm not immersed, I'm going to be upset.
Right. I agree. I super agree.
Yep. So, are there any holes in my things so far, or do you want me to keep going?
No, I mean, that's pretty basic. I think that's a pretty good thing to want hardware-wise.
Yeah.
Same with, I think a dynamic weather system would be helpful as well.
Oh, absolutely. That's one of my favorite mods in Skyrim is dynamic weathers or immersive weathers or anything. Just more, I think more grandiose weathers.
Yes.
Maybe not as much realistic. Maybe not like clouds forming in and then you get like a little bit of rain. I want to see storms.
Yeah.
I want to see something big. I want to be walking across Hammerfell and have to run from a tornado. It's not realistic. I'm not outrunning a tornado, but who cares? You know, this is really cool looking.
I want like hail and like
Yes.
sleet.
Like it damages you. You have to take cover.
Yeah.
But
That
you
seems
don't want it to
so
become a
cool.
survival game. That's an important thing. Like, survival
That is
mods
true.
are great, but you don't want it to become a survival game.
You don't want to force it. So maybe have the mode, like a survival mode where the weather can damage you.
Maybe.
Same way they do in Skyrim.
Or yeah, let's say.
Then to continue on, outside of just the world, in terms of the actual gameplay, Connor, you're going to hate this. I think a style similar to that of, honestly, I'm trouble remembering the name, the Star Wars game. Gameplay style similar to that. The more recent ones, with Cal Kestis. I don't remember.
So you don't think it should be an open world?
No, like combat, sorry. Combat.
Oh, okay. So you think kind of Soulsborne in a sense?
Slightly Soulsborne, not quite Souls.
My thing with that, though, is I think you'd lose the Skyrim feel. All Elder Scrolls game have had the first-person style combat.
Oh, no. Definitely, you still want to lean into that. I think it should have a bit more dynamic, you should have more options in the combat than just swing.
You know what game it should feel like? Though not as heavy on it. Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Never played it.
So in the Kingdom Come Deliverance, so how the sword combat works in that game, you have to dynamically block by it'll like show you where your opponent's going to strike, and then you have to move to block. It's a simplified version
Honor?
of the For Honor system, but in first person.
Okay. Then, yeah, sure. That sounds cool. I just think a more in-depth combat system, because in Skyrim, it falls almost into, like, it's repetitive.
Mm-hmm.
When you're fighting an enemy that is supposed to be stronger, like, take a standard bandit versus a bandit chief, right?
Right.
You're going to enter those fights the same way, depending on how you are. Because you're not going to fight a bandit chief until you're near its level.
Mm-hmm.
I think a really cool idea is normal bandits are going to have a moveset of like basic swings. They're going to charge at you. They're not going to use. Whereas bandit chiefs are going to come in with actual knowledge, actual combat ability. And so they're going to come in, they're going to have parries. They're going to have swings. And they're going to avoid your attacks more than just a regular bandit. And same thing for, if we move up in tiers of enemies. I don't know if I want to bring back vampires, but if we were to talk about vampires, your standard vampire is just going to lunge at you.
Mm-hmm.
A master vampire is going to stay back and use its strengths of its like high HP, high resistance, and its drain abilities to try and whittle you down before it finishes you off.
Right.
Pause.
That's wild.
But you see that dynamic combat is basically what that comes down to. Dynamic combat.
Yeah.
So that's kind of parts 1 and 2 is, more fleshed out world, dynamic combat. Do we have any arguments so far?
No, all this feels pretty standard. Make magic feel better. I've heard the older.
That was next.
Yeah, the old Elder Scrolls games I've heard did magic better, and probably should be tweaked from that.
Yes. Ty, do you have anything before I get into magic?
Nah, go ahead. Yeah.
Sweet. All right. So, magic. I love a good magic system. I believe it's Oblivion. I will be honest. I have not played a ton of Oblivion.
Mm-hmm.
It might have been Morrowind. One of the games allows you to do something. It's like you combine elements to form your own spells. That is a really cool system. Has great ideas, and it allows near infinite combinations. Chat, why are we not doing it? Bring that back.
Bring that back.
I understand the idea of like if you're not a mage, but I think you kind of I think the idea of just Elder Scrolls has always been it's your world, live it, Or at least for Skyrim it felt like that. Skyrim was you are the main character. You can do whatever you want, however you want. Just, you have a couple things you probably should get done. You don't have to beat Alduin. He'll never show up if you never complete the main quest. You don't have to join the Dark Brotherhood. You don't have to do these other things. It's your world. Go and do it, And that's kind of the idea behind the magic system for me is like, why not give the player more customization to become more connected with their character? Because if you're role-playing as a mage, and you're playing as a mage who invents their own spells, then you're going to be way more connected to your mage as you're creating new and new spells than you are as, let's say from Skyrim, as a mage who just comes in and uses fire all the time. Or conjuration, just summon Atronach. Because, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of my theory on the magic system. We actually need to take a step back and go back to Morrowind or Oblivion or whichever it was.
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
No, not especially on the magic system.
All right.
Good,
Ty?
Are you wanting to talk about shouts here?
Shouts will not be a thing.
I agree. That's what I wanted to make sure it was clear. Shouts should not be in this game.
Yes, so shouts are Dragonborn. That feels very Skyrim. Shouts wouldn't make sense to be brought here.
Yeah, because the dragons are canonically dead at this point.
Powers will be a thing. Shouts will not. There's a difference. Ty, do you have any?
I'm a bit confused. What is a shout? Like the Fusro dog.
Oh, yes, that is a shout. So a shout is a power born of the dragons from Skyrim.
Of the voice.
The voice. The way of the voice. But ultimately they come from
the
dragons. The shout is just the Thu'um, it's the dragon tongue. So the shouts that the player uses is like just dragon English. Just dragons talking to each other are shouting matches. It's a really cool concept. Needs to stay in Skyrim. Just because lore-wise, it doesn't make sense to bring that over. Because dragons are in Skyrim. They don't really hang out in the other areas. But
then I won't have to worry about fighting a dragon.
But to kind of continue on, in terms of sort of story-wise, I want to involve the Daedra. Skyrim didn't really have the Daedra as a main backer of the main story, so I want to involve the Daedra. Personally, I'm thinking Boethia would be a great one, because Boethia is the Lord of Plots, Deceiver of Nations, blah 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 blah, Loki.
Right.
And that's always fun to play with in a story. Also, they're not a good Daedra. There's good Daedra, there's bad Daedra. This is not a good one.
Another hand touches the beacon.
Uh-huh. That's right, bud.
That's right.
No, but I want to use Boethia, and sort of have the main character get caught up in the plot. So an idea I had which I'm just going off the top of my head now, but
Mhm.
idea I had was, say, the main character was someone who, because you have to keep the main character's backstory as blank as possible,
Right.
and you got to start with the Bethesda classic. Main character got caught up in something, they're in jail.
Mhm.
Uh, Finally, a guard comes up and he says, "Hey, orders of the Oracle, you're to be let out." And so the main character is dragged away by the guards, walking out. The main character comes up to this Oracle. Oracle looks at him and goes like, "Hey, you've been called by Boethia to do such and such, to go and steal the crown, or to go and kill the king, go and do some kind of big thing, right?" And so then it's the player to continue on, and I'm imagining so many branching lines of like, do you follow what Boethia and the Oracle says? Do you betray the Daedra? Do you side with another Daedra? You have so many opportunities from just this right here that I am not going to get into any of it.
So, with the main plot, I actually do have a question here, and this kind of ties into this.
Sure.
What do you think should be the canonical ending of Skyrim?
The canon ending of Skyrim. See, kind of thing of that is,
Did the Empire or do the Nords win?
thing about that is, canon endings don't really happen a lot in Elder Scrolls games.
No, but to the extent that one of them had to win. And the reason I bring this up is I know
We don't have to talk about Skyrim at all.
well, one of the things that people have been saying, and I think it was a rumor or a leak. I don't remember what the information was specifically on it. I was trying to find it, but I couldn't find the exact article. But I do know I read an article where basically the idea was, I think it was a leak, that Skyrim might be also a playable area in the game. That it's going to take place in Hammerfell, but Skyrim will also be involved.
If that's the case, that changes things.
And apparently, and this again, I'm trying to find where it was. But the idea was that it might be about the what are their names? High Elves, the High Almar.
Yes,
That it would
the
be
Aldmeri Dominion.
Yeah, the Aldmeri Dominion squaring up against the Empire would be the overarching plot, maybe.
I see.
I'm trying to find.
Well, I can run with that then. So, if that's the case, then I think what you do is you give Skyrim to the Nords. The Jarl Balgruuf, you give it to him. Who was Balgruuf, right? No, Balgruuf was Whiterun. He was shoot, I forget his name. The guy that was on the cart with you when you start the game. He used the shout to murder the High King. What's his name?
Which one?
Jarl of Windhelm. And next to High King, Ulfric.
Oh, Ulfric. Oh yeah, Ulfric.
Yes, Ulfric. So, basically what you do, I think, is most players in Skyrim are going to pick, they pick Nord. That's the default. I think what you do is, whichever side the Dragonborn sides with, I think you have the Dragonborn side with the Nords, and side with Skyrim, quote unquote, right? And I think you make the Empire lose the battle for Skyrim, which in turn gives the Aldmeri Dominion the go-ahead to be like, you're no longer useful. We're going to take over, whether you like it or not. Because that's something that they do. So that could be that kind of conflict there. Skyrim could be a playable area where there's not just two combating sides, 3. The Empire, the Aldmeri Dominion, and the Nords. Where the Nords imply a more guerrilla-style tactic, the Empire applies a more, militaristic strategy. The Aldmeri Dominion implies a more, we're going to beat you because we're stronger than you strategy. Because they're the magicians. They come in, they just have higher specs. But they don't use as much strategy because they're so confident. I think that could be a really cool type of thing that our main character gets caught up in. Which side do you choose? Do you side with the Nords, again, who are fighting to protect their homeland? Do you side with the Empire, who is trying to keep peace? Or do you side with the Aldmeri Dominion, who's trying to rule? So that could be another branch from the original quest of murdering the king, or stealing the crown, or whatever Boethia wants you to do. In terms of callbacks to Skyrim, if we're gonna be in Skyrim, you have to talk about the Dragonborn.
Yes.
So as of the point of Elder Scrolls 6, I want the dragons to be wiped out.
Yes.
I don't want there to be any dragons. There's no shouts. All of it's gone. Greybeard's gone. Because why would you need a shout when Alduin is dead? There's nothing left. Greybeards could be around. They could still be using shouts, but I don't think the player should be able to learn them.
I want to correct myself. I just found an article this is the only article I found that was talking about any of it. TRG Game Changer Stories have an article of everything we know so far, and the only substantial leak is that it will probably be in
Hammerfell.
Yes. So
Okay, so nothing related to Skyrim.
No, nothing here.
We're still playing with it. Who cares?
But yeah,
it's fun.
I just wanted to correct myself.
Yeah.
Not having lied.
Well, then just kind of play off of what we went off of, because I do like the idea of the Nords winning and us playing through that. Since we're in Skyrim, we have to have callbacks to the Dragonborn. There's no options. You have to talk about it. How do you talk about it? Well, I think the Dragonborn will probably be kind of revered as like what was his name? He was the guy in Whiterun who was always worshipping
the human who
Talos?
became Talos.
Talos. I believe the Dragonborn will be worshipped similar to Talos.
That would
Thing
make sense.
is, Dragonborn's soul would be split among so many different Daedra. I think the Dragonborn becomes a Daedra. Most likely. Similar to how Sheol-Gorath is theorized to be. And you don't tell the player this.
Yeah.
But similar to how Sheol-Gorath is theorized to be the one from Oblivion.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of makes sense. The Daedra god of shouts, or Daedra god of shadow, or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think you do something like that. You have the Dragonborn leave their legacy. But I don't think you go too hard into that. Maybe just some like books laid around. You can't
You
can't
can
do
kind
too
of
much.
imply that he became kind of fills the role of Alduin now. Like, not that he is like destined to destroy the world, but like this powerful entity was destroyed, and when he died, he fulfilled this role, and he is now in slumber or something. Like, you can have it kind of implied in that regard, even if you
Could be.
to keep it as far away from having to address it as possible.
Right. Because this my big thing is, I don't want this game to focus on Skyrim because it's its own game.
Yep, it's not Skyrim 2, it's Elder Scrolls 6.
Yes. So that's actually something I think Tears of the Kingdom. I want it to be similar to how Tears of the Kingdom deals with Breath of the Wild. Tears of the Kingdom doesn't really call back to Breath of the Wild like at all.
Oh, interesting.
They're different games. It's not a sequel, it's another game. And that's similar to what I want Elder Scrolls 6 to do, is have the callbacks, talk about it, don't make it the thing. The biggest thing we want from Skyrim at this point is that the Nords won.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're going with here. We don't care about the Dark Brotherhood, as cool as they are.
Well,
Maybe we'll see how they grew.
yeah,
Maybe we'll see how
they
grow.
have to show up. I mean, they've been in every Elder Scrolls game, haven't they?
I believe so, yeah. But
I think all those major factions are going to have to be. They're going to show up because
they're going to show up, but I don't want them to call back to Skyrim. Like, maybe we see the
Right.
Dawn Guard, and maybe we see, like, the Dawn Guard. The Dawn Guard beat the vampires. Maybe we see the companions. Yeah. Well, the Blades should be... I'm a huge fan of Parthenax. That's all I'll say there.
Parthenax
But to-
dies. He is put down. Parthenax is
Uh-huh.
dead.
Yeah, no, you just lost me. I'm never coming back again. No, but Tyler, I've been yapping a bit. Do you have any?
I'm pretty thrown right now.
Okay,
You
so
Bad.
Me in the One
Bad
Piece
at me,
episode.
back to
Woo!
back. And-
One Piece.
Yeah.
Then to describe it like this, right? I want Elder Scrolls 6 at its base level to be a story involving the player who is sent on a quest by a Daedra who is evil. Pure as it gets, evil. Players don't have to know that. This Daedra is evil.
Okay, he's evil.
They tell the player to go do something. Player gets sent to go do it. You wander through all of Hammerfell, and you potentially could fall into Skyrim. Hammerfell and Skyrim are two different geography locations.
Yeah, I got that.
In Hammerfell, I want it to be a Warring Nations style between the Empire and the Aldmeri Dominion. As well as whatever, I don't know who the government faction of Hammerfell
Yeah, I'm
is.
trying to find that. Continue with where you're at, though.
I didn't really see when I looked it up, but a warring nation style between the Empire and the Aldmeri Dominion. I'm assuming the Empire probably has control in Hammerfell.
According to this, and I don't know where it's dated, but it's this is said apparently Hammerfell is ruled by the Kingdom of the Crowns.
Yes, because Sadia in Skyrim was from, I don't think that group, but she was royalty from Hammerfell. But anyways, we'll say that the Kingdom of the Crowns is in the Empire, even if they aren't.
No, they're not.
We're just gonna say they
on
are
the
just
border
for
of
me.
the Empire.
But I mean, like, they're allies, we'll say.
Yeah, that works.
It makes it easier for me because I have no idea what I'm talking about when it comes to them. We'll just say at some point they signed an allegiance. How about that? It's been a few years. But so basically, Tyler, we have the Empire and the Aldmeri Dominion fighting in Hammerfell. The player makes their way to Skyrim, and I love the idea of when you get to Skyrim, like when you cross the border, the character blacks out. You wake up in a carriage. But then you escape the carriage because,
Yeah.
I love the idea of that callback, right? Or maybe when you cross the border, someone's standing there and says, "Hey, you, trying to cross the border?"
Trying to cross the border.
It'd be a shame if you got executed.
Hey, be careful around here. Or that they put people in
Oh
carriages.
yeah, that's what it should be. You enter and you're like right beside what is it, Hammerfell? No.
Yes.
Yeah, and you're right near it, and it's still ruins. And you like walk up, and there's just like a couple Imperials there, and they're just like, "Hey, you should be careful. Last guy who crossed the border illegally got killed," or something. Just a quick reference like that, or something.
Yeah. But we walk into Skyrim. The warring stage between the two groups now becomes a three-way fight between the local Nords, the Imperials, the local Nords, the Empire, who is still around trying to like maintain, but they've been beaten down by the Nords because of the Dragonborn.
Yeah.
So you can see his effect a little bit there, where the Empire's weaker here, but still around. And then the Aldmeri Dominion, who has recently come in and is trying to take over everything.
Right.
And this is where you have the Blades come in and try and like start biz and everything. But that's kind of the main world,
Quick
is
little
what I want.
screw in the thought. What if the Nords had allied with the Empire at this point? Not like under their control, but both hate the Almer more than they hate each other.
That is true. I don't think you do that before. I think that happens while you're playing.
Like during the story, that could be
During the story.
I think the game should be a good 100 years after Skyrim.
Oh, it should be a while, yeah.
Like I think at least 100 years.
And we have to worry about ESO as well, because I know there's a part of ESO that takes place in Skyrim, although I think it's only in Bleak Falls Barrow.
Isn't ESO all way prior to Skyrim?
Is it?
Yeah, I think it takes place ways back, but I don't know the
Okay.
timeline of Elder Scrolls.
No, I won't worry about it. I didn't know if it took place after, so yeah. But I like that idea of the Nords allying as like a mutual, like, we hate this guy truce. I think that doesn't happen until towards the end of the story. I think you make the war quest line the main quest here, whereas in Skyrim it was like a off thing, like something you didn't have. It was just kind of a thing. I think you make it the main quest line here, where you lead the charge in pushing out one of the sides, whether it be the Aldmeri Dominion or the Empire Nords, or you could choose to never let the Nords and the Empire side together as a spy of the Aldmeri.
Right.
You have a ton of options here.
According to this, ESO takes place almost 2 ages before Skyrim.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's up, Ty?
What if I sided with the dragons? Yeah.
They're dead.
They're dead!
Dang it.
Dragon, go bye-bye!
And we always could. Because no questline that finishes kills Sorana, you could technically just have her around as a follower,
Oh, yeah.
which would be really funny.
Or
But
even,
that almost feels too much
even if
Skyrim.
not as a follower, as a quest giver. Like this unknown woman who you work for, and it's implied to be Serana.
that's pretty much all I really want to say about it.
That's a good framework. I think all of us are excited for... I was trying to figure out what I wanted to call Todd Howard. I couldn't think of a good joke, so we're just good old the man in leather to show up once, as he always does, and hopefully give us good news this time about a franchise we love. Leave us in the comments. What do you want from Elder Scrolls 6? Are you excited for Elder Scrolls 6 when it eventually comes out? But yeah, please like, subscribe. We're definitely trying to grow the channel still. Share it with a friend. Any last words before we cut it off for everybody?
Boo!
I got the best last
Boo!
All right, I'm gonna send you guys to the next video. If you're watching this, like at least 2 weeks after this, be sure to talk. And with that, we're done.